ended up cutting into that, so pretty disappointed in myself. Here we are working on the forward 9-inch. First step is loosen all these lug nuts. I already went through and loosened them all up, both sides, so now I can get a jack under here, get the whole truck jacked up, get some jack stands under it. It looks about a pretty good height. Coming down slow. Oh yeah. Okay, set that down. Now I can pull off my wheel spacers. I just got a Allen wrench here, and then this will come off, and then I got my 13/16 on the lug nuts on the inner spacer, and then this drum will just come right off. Next step, these axles need to come out. You can see those nuts on there. That's what needs to be spun out. These are studs back here. Got 1, 2, there should be 4, 3, 4. And we'll have to reach in there and take those out. Once the drums are out, but the axles are still in, you're gonna wanna pull your yoke, and you're gonna wanna pull all these, because if we pull the axle out too early, a whole bunch of oil is gonna come out the end. So time to rip the whole third member apart. Got all the other nuts loosened. Luckily I didn't lose any of my studs. There's 2 I couldn't get with an impact, so doing them the old-fashioned way. So I'll get this one and this one loose. Again, all of them are going to be just barely on, because we're going to need a reef on this to break this seal. It can be pretty crazy sometimes. Got the 2 bolts loosened. I actually took those 2 all the way off. Sometimes you'll find washers, copper washers on the back of all these. I don't see a single one on there, so it's very possible somebody's already been in here. So I'm gonna try to break the seal the Jackie Chan way. There it goes. Maybe I can see it cracked. Give it a few up and a few down, I guess. There she goes. Oh boy. That is some ooey gooey nasty stuff. So, got a small screwdriver, or I guess it's a big screwdriver wedged in there, and she's really pouring out now. It's straight runny peanut butter right now. You can see on the very edge what the oil is supposed to be like, so it just, I think, has a lot of water and crap in it. So I'm gonna let this drain before pulling off the axles, but I'll show you that next. While that's draining, I'm gonna take these nuts off. 3/4 inch wrench, just a normal wrench. If you value your back, I suggest getting another wrench, using it as a cheater bar, because these things are usually stuck or on there super tight. So I'll get all these broke free, get them loosened up, and show you what it looks like. Bit of a pain in the butt to get all these off, but somewhat fun. Just simple moving the wrench over and over and over again, but got everything out. So now what I'm gonna do is hit this from the side with a rubber mallet and just slowly work it around and try to work this axle out. It'll probably help if I take that screwdriver out now that that's done draining. That'll relieve some of the pressure off the ring and pinion. I just forgot. They put this hole in here so you can put a socket in there. Boy, am I dumb sometimes. So I'm just gonna work this axle out of here. Good Lord. If you're having a really hard time getting the axle to separate on this plate here, you can tap on the back, which is gonna bring this whole backing plate off. But just remember, your brake lines need to be pretty loose. So I'm gonna bend mine up like that, and I'm gonna work this whole plate off to get this axle out. If your brake lines are too tight, kind of like mine are right here, you can simply take a punch and come around to each of the bolts and tap them through, and that'll loosen this up. Finally got this one free. Holy crap, that thing was rusty. Oh, I got a lot of cleanup to do. Probably gonna need to replace these bearings and this seal. Oh man, what a mess. So that was a pain in the butt. I ended up having to knock this back to the point where I could get a pry bar in here, put a little bit of pressure and then just keep working this back and forth. But let me tell you, that was not fun. So now I still got to do the other side. As far as the inner tubes go, that is really not bad at all. So this water, oh, you can see the water right in the oil. I can feel crusty, rusty pieces. So gonna need to run a towel through that and clean it out, but I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. It's gonna need a new bearing, new race, and new seal on this side, and I'm just gonna buy them for the other side too, so I'll get the other side off. I ended up getting this side off, but it brought the brake drum with it, so it is plumb seized on there. What a huge pain in my butt. So I'm not going to be surprised if I end up having to redo that line there. That line took some pulling on when I was working on it, so might end up redoing that. I can see the axle in there, so I just need to somehow get a pry bar in there, try to pry the two apart. But now that it's out of the axle, that's a big step forward. Good Lord. So that's why this all came with it. The whole race and everything is all connected to the bearing and the seal and everything. So what a mess this is. But get this slid all the way out. Oh, what a messy piece of crap. Grab a towel. Nice clean towel, right? Yeah. Oh! Okay. Well, no damage to the axle. I'm gonna have to put new bearings on. That is a pain in the ass, but that's what's gotta happen. So now that that's off, I can pull the nuts off my third member, get my third member removed. So there's some rust in here. Got it all on the bottom. That must have been where it's been sitting for years. A little bit of sealant in here. It's really not that bad. The gearing had a really good gear pattern on it. But it's got planetaries. Everything looks normal. So time to start ripping it apart. Another day working in the shop. Today's task is going to be getting those bearings off the axles. I know there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I think Bleepin' Jeep has a real good video where they end up cutting this collar off, cutting the bearing off, cutting the cage off, all that crap. I'm gonna try a few other methods. I'm gonna try to just heat this up and pound this off. Might end up just cutting it exactly like they do. So I'll get after it. Gonna try heating it and then using a pipe wrench on this collar, see if I can spin it off. All right, that was a fail. Parts are way too slippery to get this pipe wrench on, so I don't really have the time or patience today, so I'm gonna end up torch cutting it. So I'm in a pretty rough mood. My truck just humbled me pretty bad. I was torching, and I'll tell you, the collar just disappeared out of nowhere, and I ended up cutting into that. So pretty disappointed in myself. Usually I'm a lot better than that, but I ended up going with the method that I guess is supposed to be easy, and let me tell you, it's easy. Just use a cutoff wheel, learn from my mistake. I was cutting like here, and you can see I got to right there, and this collar just exploded off of there. I barely made it halfway. See that? It just blew itself off. They must be designed for this. I can't believe I just wasted that axle. So this axle's the original axle out of this truck from the video that I pulled the rear end. So pretty disappointed in myself, but just do it the right way. If you're doing this, trust me, do it the right way. Use that damn cutoff wheel. Oh Lord, I'm sick to my stomach. So I'll keep cutting this off. I'll get the bearing off. I'll get the rollers, all that out of here. So I'll keep at it. Not a nick, not a scratch. I even cut it at a big ass angle. I mean, it just comes right off there with a freaking pry bar. I can't believe I destroyed that axle. I was just being impatient. So getting the axle tubes cleaned out. So just shoving a rag through, just cleaning up the very bottoms. Come around here. Grab it. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna strip down probably one of the nastiest third members there is out there. Just full of cooked metal, cooked oil, greasy, nasty, goopy crap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the two keepers off, take the two bearing caps off. I'm gonna look for markings. There we go. We got 2 dots here, 2 dots here. We got 1 dot there, 1 dot there. So I don't really care what's up, what's down. Things already got markings on it, so I can just rip away. So I'm gonna take the keeper out, take the 2 caps off, take the keeper out, take the two caps off, take the spanner plates out, and then the bearings and all that crap. All this is going into that bucket. It's full of diesel fuel. So that's how we're gonna tackle this. So I'll get after it. Got the caps off. These spanner plates, they're gonna be tight because they set the preload on. So pop that off on that side. Pop that off, see how the whole carrier moved. Sorry if my camera lens gets dirty throughout this, but as you can see, race is now able to come off on both sides. So pop this bad boy out of here. We need to get into the guts because we got to put our Auburn locker in. So I'm gonna pull this out, get this up in the vise here, then I'm gonna take all these bolts out and then hopefully be able to tap this off. With the carrier out of there, you can really see the damage on this pinion. Just absolutely shark tooth, disgusting. So I'm gonna flip this thing over, take all the bolts out of this, and then that pinion will come with that plate. Then we can get this helper bearing out, and we can get all the stuff stripped off the pinion if we want, but I'm pretty sure I might just leave most of the crap on there. Pulling the bearings off, got my favorite little Craftsman puller. There's the part number there. And I use this on the Dana front end all the time. So this has got little grooves. These arms fit right into it. And got a little washer here, so I just put that on top and it spins them right off. Just like that. Hopefully you were able to see some of that. Okay, now that we got the bearings pulled off, get it flipped over, find the correct socket. Looks like a 3/4. Get it chalked up on the gun.
You might need to put this in the vise, we shall see. Oh, yeah, she's coming. Now, I don't really care about this gear. It's damaged, so I'm just going to hammer right on the gear, see if I can work it off a little quicker.
Most people would probably say don't do that, but this thing is totally dinked. It's not worth saving. So I'll show you where this goes. Right in the scrap bin. Okay, now I can get this cleaned up and start pulling the planetaries. Used a cutoff wheel, and where there's markings at the very bottom hole, I'm calling it the bottom, I just cut just the tiniest bit of indentation. So now I need to separate these two pieces from each other. Typically this is the hardest part, so somehow I need to prop this up a little bit and just tap down on this piece here. This is my setup. Just got it lightly chalked up in the vise with a towel around it so I don't damage the bearing seat. And I'm just working my way around more than half of it. I don't want to wedge it out, and so far it's coming out pretty even, so I'm just going to keep at it and this will fall right off. One hit later and she came right off, so oopsie, dropped the thrust washer in that planetary. I guess it didn't come with the rest. Oh, which is not good because I need to reuse that, so keep those together. And now I can start ripping this apart. Got the pinion member out, just took these bolts out. I think it was 9/16. Got it chucked up in the vise. Took this nut off. I think it's a 1-inch 1/16 it looks like. So got it just finger tight on there. Just gonna tap it loose. Uh-oh. Well, I think I just messed that up. Well, you saw it here first, folks. Messed it up right on camera, so. I would recommend not doing it this way. I'm gonna use this punch right here, put it right in the middle and knock it out. I'm gonna have to put the camera down. She's out. We have our yoke all good to go. Put that up to the side. Gonna need to get that cleaned up before I reinstall. Got this big old washer, and I guess this can come up maybe. It's pretty messy, so I'm gonna put the phone down and I'm gonna just tap this off. Still got our O-ring and everything, so I'm gonna get this off the actual pinion. Looks like whoever was in here before hammered on this lip. This is where the O-ring sits in. It's all busted apart. You can see all that old debris in there. So unfortunately, this part is no longer good. I'm still gonna pull it apart just to kind of see what we got in there, but that kind of sucks. Oh well, we got more parts. And it might have been damaged anyway from, you can see all the torn up metal there, so it's just kind of the way it rolls, I guess. So I'll get this off of here. Got it pressed out. There is no more bearing there. That's just the cage there. You can see the bottom of the bearing still on. This whole thing's going right here, right in the scrap bin. So finished getting this torn down, but I don't think it's savable. So just plan on pulling that other one apart, I guess, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Got the pilot bearing pulled. All you do is you just hammer right on this ring and it will bring the star washer out. This might end up breaking, but yeah, you just drive it right out. Just, you can only get a chisel right on the lip there, but just tap that out, it'll come out real nice and easy. So now that this is all clean, or I guess stripped down, now it can be cleaned out. So I'm gonna spray it all down, get it all wire wheeled, get it good and ready for reinstallation. Getting this other, I don't know what you'd call it, I guess the toe of the third member pulled off, and I noticed right off the bat, the thrust washer in here, or an oil baffle or an oil slinger, whatever you want to call it, but I just realized the other one I pulled apart did not have that, which easily could have caused all the oil to just be flung right out of the differential, which probably caused the failure in the first place. That's the end of this video, how to tear down the Ford 9-inch. The next video, I'm going to show you how to re-gear it. We're doing 456 gears, and I'm going to show you how to install that Auburn locker. So just didn't want this video getting too long. I appreciate you watching. Leave me a comment, subscribe, give me a like. I appreciate you watching. Thanks.